Hi everyone, you're welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're watching me for the very first time, my name is Nosemj, and to all of my returning subscribers and new subscribers, I am so happy to have you here. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel, for following up with my updates, and for bringing more people to subscribe. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you all so much. And I want to give a special appreciation to everyone who looked out for me and who were checking up on me to know why I was missing in action. Oh my goodness, guys, the reason why I was missing in action, I will definitely definitely share it with you later, much later. But today I've got great news for you. This news is probably a stale news right now, like stale gist. Like if I start talking about it, people be like, stale gist now, we know all this already. But well, my duty is still to, make it clearer, simpler for you so that you can easily comprehend what the update is about. So today in this video I'm going to share with you the new Nursing and Midwifery Council UK update regarding their English language requirement. So at this point, some of you might be like, okay, I'm no longer interested, I know this already. But trust me, you know that I always bring this information to you, even though they might not be new. Even though they might be old, like they're not really new, but I make it easier. So it is really worth watching this video. Okay, so we're gonna talk about the new update. We're gonna talk about combining your English language test, what has changed. What did we have before? What was the previous requirement, and now what has changed? These are the things that we will be looking at in this video. And another tip that you will get in this video is that we are also going to look at some examples of combining English language test results. Okay, so we're going to look at some examples, and you are free to send me your questions, send me your results. Maybe you're not sure if you can combine this result, you want to be sure, you're so free to send me your results using this email address. So without taking much of our time, let's dive into the real update for today. Anyway, before I go right into the information, guys, if you don't know what this channel is about, I don't think I need to really talk about. So guys, before I really go into the update, if you don't know what this channel is about, this channel is really all about everything. It's all about this channel came up from me trying to share information. I've got a Twitter account, and I've got an Instagram account, and on my Instagram, I used to do Instagram live session, and some of my followers felt like this was not enough. MJ, you've got a lot of information that you want to share to people, and you do it so well. Why not give us why not give us a YouTube channel? And that's one of the reasons why we have this YouTube channel. It's all about sharing information, guys. And just to give something to the rest of the audience, so it's not like, oh, every time it's nothing, it's this, it's that. That's why you see me share some of my travel experiences and all. And trust me, something is coming that you don't want to miss, and that's one of the reasons why I've been missing in action. So I am more than happy to share some of my travel experiences with you. I do that on this channel, and I also have one update coming up that you do not want to miss. So enough of all this. Let's get right to the information of the day. Yeah, so guys, I think a lot of us were aware of all of the meetings, and I think around earlier this year, there's been a lot of rumor that the Nursing and Midwifery Council UK wants to change their English language test results. So if you're not aware, at the moment there are two English language tests that Nursing and Midwifery Council UK recognize, and is their requirement. The first one is the International English Language Testing System, which is popularly called Ielts. And the second one is OET, which is the Occupational English Language Test. Okay, so for the IELTS, which is the International English Language Testing System, so the rest of this video I'm going to be saying IELTS. Okay, so it's not IELTS, it's not IELTS, it's IELTS. Okay, so for the English, for the IELTS, it tests you in 4 sectors. It tests you in your listening, it tests you in your speaking, tests you in your reading, and tests you in your writing in 4 sections. Okay, and in all of these 4 sectors, before, the requirement was that you needed to have 7 across all of the sectors, and also 7, at least 7 overall. Okay, that was the tough requirement. Okay, so when people see English language test is not exactly a tough exam, yeah, it's just that you need to give the exam exactly what the exam requires. That is simply it. Okay, so before, it was 7 in listening, 7 in speaking, 7 in reading, and 7 in writing. That was the previous requirement. And for all professionals, for nurses, for doctors, that was the requirement. Okay, now for nurses, but this video is focused on nurses, okay, so we don't divert. Okay, so for nurses, they want you to do an English language test, academic, yeah, because we have different types of English language tests. We have the academic, we have the general, we have the life skill, different types. Okay, but for professionals, for nurses, the one that you need to take is the academic. Okay, and this academic can either be the standard academic, or it can be the UK VI. Either one. Before, it used to be strictly UK VI, if you want to, of course, because that one allows you also use the UK VI. Now let me talk about this one. So you can use the UK VI, which is the United Kingdom visa, right? Visa immigration, immigration. So UK VI, this one, you could, if you take the UK VI, which was slightly more expensive then, right? I'm talking about around 2017, 2018. It was slightly more expensive. So if it was, I think it was around maybe 75,000 or 90,000. I think it was, I think the standard one was about 75, and that one was about 90 something thousand, right? So you take that, if you take the UK VI, you can use the UK VI to also process your visa application. Okay, whereas if you take just the standard, right, if you take just the standard, you'll be able to use it for your NMC registration and all of that, but you will not be able to use it for your visa application. So what people do then, because people are scared that, what if I don't pass? Yeah, and it's about 20,000 difference. I mean, if I don't pass and I've taken the one for 75, or I've used another body which is called that's if you do it with British Council. But if you do it with, I think, IDP, I think it was less. I think it was around 45 for them. So people are like, I'll just do the standard, and if I don't pass, it's easy for me to request for a remark. You can also request for a remark of your English language test in case you're not aware. Okay, and the good thing about the remark is that if you do a remark and your score increases, even if it's just by 0.5, you will get the amount that you have paid for the remark back. Good, interesting, right? Yeah, so what were you talking about? So we're talking about the difference between the UK VI and the standard, because I got a lot of questions around this, and I just felt, let me talk about it. Okay, so for the UK VI and the standard, right, you can use the UK VI to do your NMC registration, and also to process your visa application. And then for the standard, right, for the standard, you can only use that for your NMC registration, but you will have to take again the UK VI to process your visa application. But right now, at the moment, all of this has changed. Okay, so you can either take the UK VI, you can take the standard, it does not matter. Anyone you take, you can use to process your visa application. You can also use it to process your Nursing and Midwifery Council registration. That being said, now let's go back to the requirements. So I said before, it was 7, 7, 7 across the 4 sectors, right? And then few years away, I think around 2019, that was around 20 to 2019, the NMC, they sat down at a meeting, and also, again, based on, a lot of people coming together, a lot of nurses, professionals, some bodies, some employers came together and said, we need to look at this requirement, because this is one of the barrier to, recruitment. So they sat down and had this conversation, and they came up with changing the IELTS, which was the sector that was proving so difficult for people. And that sector, guess the sector. It's popular, writing. So they reduced the writing requirement to 6.5, and a lot of us benefited from it. Okay, so the writing was reduced by 0.5 and it went down to 6.5. So across all other sectors it was still the same. So in listening, in reading, in speaking, it was still 7, whereas in writing it was reduced to 6.5. Now let's talk about this, and this is still the requirement. This is still the requirement. It has not changed. But we're going to talk about what has changed. Okay? The major thing that has changed right now is in combining your results. From what I do understand, a lot of bodies came together again. A lot of nurses took a survey, and they did a survey. They did a lot of research, getting information, getting support from every professional available, from all the, and I'm very sure some of you also took the survey, and the petition to reduce the IELTS score. But NMC came up and said, you're not going to reduce the score, because it is really important that our professionals can still maintain the high level of, at least English proficiency, in order to communicate effectively with patients and also to ensure patient safety. The UK does not joke with their patient safety. And, there is no way you can communicate effectively if you cannot at least speak, not like fluently or perfectly in English, but at least you can communicate, you can comprehend things, information in English, and it really makes life easier for everyone. Okay, imagine you working with people that cannot understand simple English. Life is going to be really difficult. So we do not want that, and also it's going to put patient safety on the line. And that's the reason why we need to have this English language proficiency in place, and it cannot be stopped, it cannot be cancelled, but they can make certain adjustments. So the adjustment, the update that they have made now to this requirement is what we're going to talk about now. So before, when you want to combine your English language results, you must still achieve at least the minimum across the 2 tests. So now the 2 tests must not be more than 6 months apart. So now let's say maybe you took the first test in January, right? The next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, yeah. So January, so February, March, April, May, June. So around June, July, you have to have the second test. Okay, so if you did not meet the requirement in the first test, then the second one you have to take it within the next 6 months. So that in case you do not still meet the requirement, you can combine. Okay, it must not be more than 6 months apart. Yeah. In the first sector, let's say for instance, maybe in the first test, the only one you did not meet up with is writing. Okay, you did not meet up with writing. So let's say maybe in your writing you had 6 instead of 6.5. Yeah. Now you met in the other ones, you had 7, you probably even had 8, and say 7.5, which is good, but you did not meet up with writing. So you said, okay, let me go again and redo my English language test. Okay, and then when you did the other second one, this time around, unfortunately, you have reduced in your listening. First good example, right? So fortunately, in your second one, you now meet the requirement for speak or for writing, which you did not meet in the first test. So in the first test, say you had listening 7, you had speaking 7.5, you had reading 7.5, and then in your writing you had 6. That's still a fail. You did not fail, but it's not the acceptable requirement. Okay, so now in your second test, so I'm just gonna pen this down so that I have it in my head. Okay, so I said in your first test you had a 7, in your reading you had 7.5, in your speaking you had 7.5, and then in your writing you had say 6. Okay, and we all know that the requirement in writing is 6.5, right? So I'm talking about the previous combination of results now. Okay, so now in your second test, you now had, say, 6.5 in listening. In reading, you had, say, 7.5 still, and in speaking, you have 7.5. In writing, you now have 6.5, which is a requirement that you want. Before before this result, right, you cannot combine it. Before, now to the update now is that is good news. They have reduced all of them by 0.5, all of them by 0.5. It is still proposed, and they're looking at implementing it by 2023, early 2023, hopefully, fingers crossed. Yeah, so they have reduced all of the scores by 0.5. So now in your reading, listening, speaking, and writing, everything minus 0.5. How does this affect combining of your results? How does it affect it? So the implication now is that, remember the test, the result that we discussed, this result that we discussed in the first aspect, you have this kind of result, you can now combine it because everything is still within 6 and 6.5, which is good news. So this is the update. Now let's talk about the second test, the occupational English language test, and I hope that my explanation on the Ielts was crystal clear. And if you are still not clear, please feel free to send me an email to to further clarify things for you. Okay, I'll be more than happy to do that. So now let's talk about the second one, which is the occupational English language test. Okay, so for the occupational English language test, so I was really looking into the screen trying to explain things for you. So let me relax. So for the occupational English language test, the requirement before was that you should have at least, B in all of the other sectors and a C plus in writing. This was the previous requirement. And in combining of your results, none of them across the two sectors, it means that your writing must still maintain C plus, and you can have a C plus in the rest, but your writing must still maintain C plus. Okay, this was the previous requirement. Okay, now in the new updates, your writing, if your writing is below C plus, which is C is now accepted, and the rest can be C plus. Okay, everything not below C plus except writing, which can now be C. So you can combine these two results. So I really hope I have made this information clear enough, for you. But if you've still got questions that you want to ask me, feel free to ask. Now let's talk about other requirements, like maybe you went to a university and you were trained in English language. I have talked about this before in one of my videos. Okay, this is the standard. The Ielts and the OET are the standard English language test requirement. Okay, however, if you trained in an English speaking country, okay, there's a list that is recognized by the UK immigration as the list of countries that are recognized by UK immigration as English language speaking countries. And if you're from these countries, then you do not, or if you trained in these countries, or if you've practiced in these countries for about 12 months or a year, you do not even need to be bothered about English language tests at all, because that is fine for you. You can provide a proof that of course you've lived in those countries and you've practiced in those countries as your English language proficiency. That is enough. However, if you're not from a majority English speaking country, for instance Nigeria or Ghana, you can still provide evidence of your study. Okay, providing that your study was in English language, and you can prove that at least 50% of your clinical studies were in English language, and at least 75% you had communication, clinically with patients, and you provided care. But the clause here, and I did give an example that people, you can use NARIC. I have seen people use NARIC. I have not gotten people to come and speak about that, because we know how these things can be. Politics. Okay. Yeah. So now the clause here is that the NMC UK, they reserve the right to tell you either they accept it or not. So it is individual based. It is not a standard. Okay, so it is based, this is individually judged. So some people can get a waiver, yeah, if the NMC UK think that they have provided enough evidence, right? And some, it will not work. So it's a 50-50 chance, but it is worth taking. If you have tried English language test several times, maybe the OET or the Ielts several times, and it's not working, this is another aspect that you can look into. So this is all I have got to share with you regarding the new update, which we're looking up to being implemented early 2023. It was supposed to be implemented this year. They said autumn, late autumn. So we are looking at late autumn and 2023. Anyway, this is the update. I hope that you guys found this video helpful and useful. In my next update, I'm gonna be talking about several things about, I think I have a video coming up about how to renew. If you're a Nigerian nurse, this will be a good information for you about how to renew your license, your Nigerian practicing license in the UK. If you're in the UK or if you're overseas, how do you renew your license? Do you have to pay somebody? No, I have done it before, and I did it all by myself, and you can do it all by yourself without having to pay anybody. It's simple and easy. I mean, I give a thumbs up to Northern American Council Nigeria for giving us these updates. Okay, so I'm gonna be sharing that with you in my next upload. So make sure you subscribe to this channel on, and hang around. I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Cheers.